Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to James Redmond TV. Day 3, uploading videos. Imagine that. Day 2 of not crying, which is great. No, thank you so much for the support over the past few days, as always. Much love to me little sister, little rhubarb. We're always thinking of you, and never afraid to mention her at the beginning of my videos. I just love her so much, mate. She'll be getting a mention for forever on this YouTube channel. Someone came up with a great idea, actually putting a picture of rhubarb right there. I'm going to make like a little corner designated to. I'm going to put a little bed and the photos and celebrate it for as long as I can, mate. And I'm going to say as long as I can, I mean until the day that I go as well. And I join her. She's going to be running through the fields. It's going to be boss. What's going on today is we are going to basically be just going through comments mainly. If I miss your comments, just repeat it. Don't spam it. Don't do it loads. Just say it again after like 2 minutes or something, so then I can see it again. Copy and paste. Simple as. But also about one of the most interesting facts of recent time, which is Arne Slot and his sort of killer mindset. And what I mean by that is that Arne Slot, after the game against Manchester United, came out and explained all of Erik ten Hag's tactics of his team and the differences of the tactics of this season's Man United and last season's Man United in 2 minutes. And he'd done it with like the most serious look on his face. And do you know when you just kill somebody with knowledge? Like, do you know that dude yesterday who was trying to say that Salah isn't a top 5 African? And we just killed him with knowledge. Like, he thought he had knowledge, really. He didn't have knowledge. Conclusion, I am dumb as F. That's what he had to think to himself yesterday, because he had no substantial points to make that Salah weren't a top 5 African in the Premier League history. Therefore, looks dumb. But then the difference of the two managers, because you've got to understand, Ten Hag over the past 5 years is the creme de la creme Dutch manager. Let's call a spade a spade. He won 6 trophies with Ajax. I think Arne Slot won 3 with Feyenoord. And, you know, you consider the win percentages and stuff like that. Based on those stats, Ten Hag was obviously better, but he did have more resources and all these things. But then you see the way that they speak. One of them speaks in like a silent assassin sort of way, and the other one speaks like he's on the spectrum, just a slight. Not that it's bad to be on the spectrum. I'm on the spectrum. Probably all are to a degree. But you can't sit there and watch Ten Hag and say he doesn't have a form of tism. I'm not going to say what tism, but a tism of some sort. I'm not even going to say it's autism, but it's like tism-ish. He just... Do you know when you try and establish... I am the greatest because we've won the 2nd most trophies behind Man City. You finished 8th last season. And a dude who's been here for 2 months, played 1 month worth of football, has already exposed your tactics. And it's not, you know, super impressive to expose someone's tactics, but it's the fact he knew the playing style from this season in comparison to last season and the difference between the two, and the fact he just said it. That's a scary thing, mate. You know what I mean? That's a scary bastard. And he's a scary man. But that's what we love about it. You've got our manager who's just like a silent killing assassin, and then you've got Man United's manager who is filled with tisms, which is just amazing to see. That really intrigued me, and day by day I'm learning more about Arne Slot, and I'm loving him for the different reasons. I'm loving him for the transparency. I'm loving him for the fact that he goes out there with 0 Fs given. And you know what? He's an intelligent man. He's intelligent when it comes to responding to questions. You don't get that really. I don't think Klopp all the time was intelligent when it comes to responding to questions. Klopp had that sort of fella syndrome. Not really asked about what you say. Kind of looked down on the media. You could tell he just hated it. And he just responded in that way. You know, that's why he said things without much filter. I think Arne Slot is very, very good at making people look stupid with articulate responses. And that's cool, because it shows he's not just a master of tactics, but it shows that he's got great psychology to him as well. For Ten Hag, you probably would have seen the interview or the quotes of Arne Slot and you know, exposing his tactics really that quick. If you watched the video, you would have saw that was... I think he would have taken that as quite intimidating. In fact, probably not. Because if you have the tisms that Ten Hag has, I just do think that you're probably going to miss the little key points. You'd be like, but we win most trophies. We win most trophies. You have to give me a lifetime contract. You have to give me respect because behind Man City, who is the team, my rival, I have won most trophies. That means I'm the best. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Arne Slot, more tactical. Jurgen, more charismatic. I think it's a real... Jurgen was more passionate. He was more emotive. Quite clearly. Arne Slot is more like that, a silent assassin, where he will just damage you with very simple words, speaking to you plainly, and he will kill you with facts. And I don't think he even has the intention, like, I am going to kill you. I just think he thinks, I know what your game is, and, you know, I don't mind saying it, because if you know football, you can see what is happening. So, yeah, I think that he's very intelligent from that point of view, and I think that's a skill managers like Ten Hag don't possess. So I do think it's impressive what he's been able to do. You know what I mean? James with the long hair. I'm getting there, mate. I am getting there. Like, you know, with the hat, it does ruin it ever so slightly. But I've been trying to go for a sort of, not like this. This just ruins everything. But like, I try and split the hair in the middle. Do that. Get it down to the sides. Give a little bit of a Markovic look. But it's just getting it perfectly down the middle like that is the challenge. Because look, you can see it kind of does like a zigzag down the head. So once I've brushed it all properly, I can expose it properly. Do you know what I mean? But that doesn't even look too bad. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. I appreciate you. You absolutely. James Nunes, who says that I don't love Darwin Nunes? I'm now taking his hairstyles. I do think it looks quite cool. I think it looks quite cool. You know, at one point I was going to shave it. I'm not going to shave it no more. He's absolutely bummed. he's absolutely bummed. I haven't used the word bummed in time. That's such a funny word. He's absolutely bummed, Ten Hag, because he's telling other managers who are focusing, who are facing him soon, what his tactics are and what his team plans to do. Now Ten Hag has something on his mind. And that's the thing. It's like, again, you know, if you're a competent manager, you can see what Ten Hag can do, but there is just certain managers who don't look at it from that point of view. I'd say Klopp didn't every single time knew how his opposition was going to play. And you know what? Slot made a good point, is that he can analyse these teams all he wants, but when he faces them, the teams play very different. And he said that was something that happened in Holland. The way teams will play typically is not how they play against you. And that's the difficulty of being a top-flight manager in comparison. Like, if Arne Slot faces Brentford, Thomas Frank is going to have a way of playing against Liverpool. And that's going to be different to how he plays against other teams in the league. Simple as. But I think because Arne Slot is so good at adapting, it just makes it sort of inevitable that he's going to do well and he's going to find a way to beat you. And I think that's why we done underwhelming in the first half against Ipswich, and in the second half we came back and smashed them. I think that's why in the first half, that's where United had the most success in the game. In the second half, they had no chance. So it's just, it was still having the similarity of growing into the game like Jurgen Norbert Klopp, but we're not conceding the first goal. We're a lot more reserved. We're a lot more calmer and more composed when it comes to the beginning of the game. So yeah, look back at when we first met. I cannot escape. Forget Hammers. You're the one. Is that a song? You're the one. You're the one. I am the one. I am the one, the only one to get the one on the map, on the streets. I don't know the words, but that's a tune, innit? Isn't that a tune? I am the one, the only one. Please don't subscribe. Looking like Ali with the trim magic. Nice one, fam. Nice one, fam. The trim actually looks good. Do you see what I'm saying? It's actually half all right, isn't it? Looking like our number one, Alison Becker. Oh, Ali. Alison Becker. Sorry, I was thinking, who's Ali? Alison Becker. We take that. Long hair, James. Long hair, James, indeed. James Chiesa. Who doesn't love a bit of James Chiesa? By the way, have you ever seen me and Chiesa stood in the same room? I don't think you have. I don't think you've seen it. Where's the Illuminati music? Meow, 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 meow. You're onto that? Is that the Illuminati music? I don't know. I'm not a part of it. I'm not a part of them bastards. Them little rats. Little TVs. I remember 2 years ago when I first started going on TikTok, I was getting loads of videos of all those conspiracies, you know, mate. And it's interesting to look into. Like, go and look into it. Looking like an Italian lover boy. I think so, yeah. Nah, I take those. We take those. But yeah, Arne Slot's a dangerous man. Arne Slot's a very dangerous man. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how the future does comments for himself, because he looks really, really good. Shout out to Texas Dave. He says, do you remember that one Chiesa comment? Wait, do you remember that one Chiesa comment I made on Cop TV years back, and AGT made an edit here? We actually signed them. Do you know what's funny? I do think I remember that. And was it, Dave, was it like a StreamYard live stream? It wasn't in person, was it? Was it a StreamYard live stream? Like Alex here, I'm here, like in boxes? Because if so, I think I remember. If it was in the studio, then that's something that's a little bit more forgetful for me. But I know that that's a comparison people have made for a long time. I actually think you look like Chiesa, so that comment was great. You're now James Chiesa. Or is Chiesa Federico Redmond? Nah, he's older than me. I've got to be James Chiesa. Fucking hell, is that Calafiori? All right, guys, fuck off now. Talking about my head, you think people want to tune in? Talking about my body. Does look good though, doesn't it? It looks all right. And it's all shampooed and that. Yeah, the live stream. Yeah, man. I'm on to you. Let's have a chat, lads. What do you want to chat about, Thomas? Bring in the comments so that I can respond to them. Ask me questions and I can respond to them. Shout out to Josh. He says, how are we today, bro? Hope you're feeling much better for the past few days. Yeah, mate, no, we're getting better. We're just getting better at handling things, really. And you know, comprehending things. I still have my odd little cry, don't get me wrong. Don't intend on doing that on stream today, but it's nice talking about Rhubarb and the legacy that she left. And, you know, I've left a few messages out on Twitter, which, you know, if there was ever a tweet I'd ask you guys to go and read of mine, it would be my most recent ones. I just couldn't stand behind the message more that, you know, don't take any day for granted. Love your family like as if it's the last day, because tomorrow's never guaranteed. And despite division, separation, you know, conflict, difference of opinions, just simply be the best that you can, and love, hug, kiss your family every single opportunity you get. Because I see myself now, like we yesterday we got like a bunch of photos of Ruby in a frame and put them around the house. There's some in the living room, some in the kitchen. There's one in the spare room, which I'm staying in at the moment, in my mum's. And I just give it a kiss every single time I walk past her. And that's really helped. And I still speak to her. And I still tell her I love her, and I tell her she's a good girl. And yeah, mate, will forever be my little sister and my forever best friend. No doubt. Bless her indeed. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for asking that question as well. Shout out to Gary. What do you make of the shite atmosphere around Anfield recently? Always a touchy topic, because I think people interpret the response to this question like you're sort of anti, you know, global fans, and you know, I've heard this comment made before, like Scousers see themselves above foreign fans and this type of thing. And listen, I don't agree with that narrative. I do think there's Scouse people who are like that. But the facts are the facts. We all come from different cultures. People grow up supporting Liverpool differently. They've done it over a screen. They've done it being the only Liverpool fan in their family. And due to the difference in cultures, the fact that a lot of people who come to the stadium aren't British or aren't fans that have grew up in Liverpool, the atmosphere doesn't come as much. But then again, it's not just that. You know, you've got older fans who are Scousers in the stadium, and that's going to impact the atmosphere. But I do think that, you know, a lot of factors, but the main one being it's the most global our fan base has ever been. But you can't shit on the global fan base, because they're the reason why we generate a lot of revenue, being able to sustain ourselves as a big football club. And the worldwide fan base that we have is the reason why Liverpool can be considered the biggest team in England, and it's because they have a huge fan base. And yet I do think the atmosphere has suffered because of it, but I don't think that necessarily means, you know, there'll always be more of a positive, but then unfortunately with the positive will come a negative, and that is the revenue's the positive, the atmosphere is the negative. And I just think we save it for the big occasions now, don't we? Because I've been to European games and they've still been big and huge and all that, but it's not the same. I agree. But that's an opinion people don't like. Gradually, as the years have gone by, I think since COVID, I think it's just sucked the life out of football ever so slightly. So, yeah. Liam also says the atmosphere is amazing when we need it to be. For example, European nights. And that's the thing. So, we've demonstrated we're still capable of bringing it. I just don't think that it's a commonality between all the fans. And I think because it's not the same as it used to be. You know, it was very back in the day, it was very season ticket orientated, and there was a lot of people with season tickets when season tickets were less than 100 quid. And, you know, you'd be like, oh, you're all right, John. And you'd all sit in the same seats. Whereas now people get seats and they give it away. And that's actually how I get a lot of my tickets, is people giving their tickets away. So I'm probably a part of the problem, really. But I go there and make noise in the seat that I take. Mate, I can be in the main stand family section and I won't stop singing. I'll get people. I've had one experience of an half fella turning around, he turned around to me and just went, do you want to pipe down a little bit, lads? And I think he had a problem because I was doing a vlog and I was recording it on my camera. And he was like, you're doing those reactions for the camera, aren't you? Do you mind piping it down a little bit? And I was like, no, I'm not just doing it for the camera. I'm doing it because I fucking love this team. And if you've seen me in any other part of the stadium or anyone else that sat with me, they'll tell you, I don't shut up. And that's just based on how I've been brought up on. This fella was a little bit older. He was a Cockney lad. He was like, oi, mate, do you mind turning that camera off and stop those fake reactions? I was like, fuck off, you little Tory. I think I called him a Tory or something. I think I just went, you're a little Tory. He just looked at me back and just went, oh, fuck off, you Scouse cunts. And I was just like, hang on a minute, I don't think you understand where you are. You know what I mean? Like, just go for your Scouse cunt, but you got a Liverpool top on. He was a mental bastard. But that's the example of people who kind of look at the game like a luxury experience opposed to being the 12th man. And that's just the mentality difference, I think, between all the fans. And I think that's the way it is. Shout out to Daniel. He says, Erik ten Hag might not be the man, but imagine if he was the right people. Imagine if he was with the right people in charge and being the biggest club in the league and the money we spend. Well, I'm assuming you're a Man United fan. If he had the right people in charge, which I think he does, because he's had all the right signings that he's wanted, he literally spent all of his budget on his players. You know, he tried to sign De Jong, didn't get De Jong. Poor Ten Hag gets Casemiro instead. He's got the players he wants. I don't think United fans, unfortunately, can use that excuse. And he keeps persisting with players who are quite clearly failing, like Rashford and Bruno Fernandes. And he feels he has to start these guys, but in reality, he doesn't. You know, Scott McTominay, who I always thought was one of the most high working performers in a Man United shirt, he sold him. And that was his choice. Bringing in Anthony was his choice, and now he doesn't start him. Lisandro Martinez was his choice, and he's been quite good, to be fair. Malacia was his choice, and I've never seen him play a game of football. You know, I don't think we can say... You've already admitted as well, Daniel, like the money you spend, you should be doing better. But I think the right people are in charge. I think the right people are in charge for Ten Hag, because I think any other ownership of Man United would have sacked Ten Hag last season. But the FA Cup just painted over a lot of troubles at your football club. Shout out to Foyness, mate. Last time I was at Anfield, there was speakers. There were a Spanish-speaking couple next to me who thought, fuck the Tories, was a chance about a player. Bit touristy, not going to lie. That's going to kill it. That's going to be a byproduct of international fans having so much access to the stadium. They're not going to understand certain chants and they're not going to know certain chants, so the atmosphere is going to be affected because of it. Shout out to North Red. There's a bit of uncertainty at the club. New manager resolved contract, so that's maybe contributing to quiet from the stands, but the move slot beds in louder. It will gel. I'm not too sure what that means, sorry, but I might have read that wrong. I do apologise. MHS, he says, today we heard news about a new contract talks with Diaz, and does this indicate that talks with Mo, Trent and Virgil van Dijk will start soon? Yes, I do think so. I think with Salah especially, because he put pressure on the club with his last comment saying, you know, this is my last year at the club and I'm just going to enjoy it. I agree with the comment that was made yesterday that was pressure, you know, a pressure comment. Bit of a pressure cooker on the club to really start making a move. Yeah, I agree. And by the way, how wrong have we been on Diaz? Like, for about 12 months, I've said, maybe I'd sell him, maybe I'd do this, maybe I'd take Anthony Gordon. And I'll admit it when I'm wrong. He has been unbelievable this season. End product, like his finish against Man United was superb. He was super. Both finishes. I mean, the first one was a header, but that second goal, I can't remember actually. The first goal was the header, correct, and then the second one was the finish. I might be wrong, but both of them were solid, and he was in the right place at the right time, and it's contributing to his end product, which we've all complained about for time. So I'm very happy with it, Luis Diaz, and he's convinced me to give him a new contract, so I'm happy. Was it Ruby that passed away, James? It was, Dexter. It was, mate. She left us on the 1st of September. She would have been 13 this month, and she left herself a good little legacy. And she left a warm place in our hearts. So thank you for asking about her, mate. I always like talking about her when I get the opportunity. CJ says this is just the beginning of the slot era. It will get even better than this. I hope so, CJ. I hope so. Is Jones injured? I believe he is, because I've not seen any sort of signs from him. Shout out to Molina. I don't think we'll win the Champions League this year. Barcelona might do it. They have the coach who won the sextuple with Bayern Munich. But they don't have the team that Bayern Munich had. I think he was just very impressive at Bayern Munich, and he had a very strong squad. Like, Thiago was on the bench for Bayern Munich. So, yeah. Silly question, but what's the best way to try and get tickets? Online, but you're always going to get overcharged, especially if you're getting it from secondary source websites besides the Liverpool website. Also, it's just knowing good people who might have spare tickets. It's very complicated, though. Shout out to Ryan. Yeah, I think he will get the chances when he comes back from injury. Dan's is a great centre-forward. Link-up is great at centre-forwards. Link-up play could be pivotal for us in smaller games, and rotation also young and scouse. I like Jadon Dan's. I do. I think he's got promise and potential. I'm a big fan of Kumas. I'm really excited to see what Kumas can do. I think he looks unbelievable. North Red, you're there for 90 minutes and your mouth. Wait there, you're there for 90 minutes and your mouth, in some cases, sing your heart out. Yeah, you've got to sing your heart out at the stadium, mate. Incredible to see you back. Aren't you happy with the brand new welcoming 4-year contract? Of course, mate, of course. I hope that we get Salah, Virgil and Trent secured as soon as possible. Especially Trent, because he's the youngest and he's the future of the club. But I would be over the moon to see Salah and Virgil extend as well. Thomas wants you to collaborate, bro. Thomas, are we on about Tom Little? Are we on about Tom Little? Let me know. If so, I'll always do a video with Tom Little. Have you had Domino's up the Reds? Of course I've had Domino's. Not today, but in the past I've had Domino's. Love a Domino's. Some barbecue-based pizza. Some nice, juicy meatballs. Don't mind if I did, Lita. Biggest club in the league. You keep talking. You keep telling yourself that, bro. Are you talking to me? James, do you think that Ten Hag will be the first manager sacked out of the top 6 this season? He spent 600 million 4 years. Isn't it 3 years? You might be right, though. The end of the season, Klopp only spent 280 million the same time and won a Champions League. Yeah, man, listen, he is a different level of manager. I do think he'll be one of the first. I don't know if he will be the first. Don't forget, Chelsea are Chelsea. They could beat them to it. But yeah, Ten Hag's definitely a candidate for sure. I'm trying to think. Sean Dyche, I think he'll get the leg for sure. Great to see you back, James. You've been really missed, man. William, I've missed you too. Thank you, sir. Love you. Let me read this super chat. Shout out to Royal USG. You was here yesterday, my man, so thank you. 2 days of consistent content. Get in. Keep it up. Thank you, sir. Legends. I've already answered that question from Josh. Don Hussein! Why are you wearing me on WhatsApp, lad? I hope I haven't been. I've had a mad few days, Husam. I've had loads of messages because of an incident. You might have not saw it because I don't think you follow me on Instagram. But I love you, Husam. I'll get back to that after this, mate. I'm using my phone right now, so I can't get back to it yet. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to Husam, you go subscribe to Husam because he's been carrying the Liverpool fan base on YouTube. Absolute legends. Shout out to Ghost. The only keepers in the league that are better than Alisson is Vicario and Edison. No one else comes close to Ali. I disagree. I think that is a super tism comment. I couldn't think. The fact you've named them two as the better goalkeepers is crazy to me. I know me and you were big fans of Gordon. If he's available next summer or January, are you still taking him, or do you think no more attackers now? Now that we've got Chiesa, any more attackers is just adding unnecessary bills to the wages. I just don't think that's necessary. But I like Gordon. I think he's a good player. But Diaz, he's doing well. So at this rate, I'm happy with Diaz staying in the team. Are you Team Red Bull? Nice. I'm Team Monster. Have I already showed you that I've been drinking Red Bull? Mate. Disgusting for your liver. Amazing drink, though. Amazing taste. Gary's saying I'm eating my weight at the moment. Oh yeah, this comment's been repeated a few times now, I think. Right, let me read these super chats because I'm a little bit behind. I'm a bit behind on the chat, to be honest. Right, 2 days of inconsistent. Wait, there, no consistent uploading. There we go. Shout out to Edrin, big up James. Glad that you're back consistently, Edrin. I love seeing your name in the chat, mate. Thank you. Love you, mate. Shout out to Taylor. Keep the content coming, lad. No pissing about. No pissing about, indeed. This is what we fucking do. I am a product of Arne Slot. I'm messing. I'm a product of Jurgen Klopp. But I adapt well to Arne Slot's style. James, get a haircut? No, I like me hair, lads. I like me hair. And do you know what? I've been getting a few compliments. Ladies stare at me for a bit longer. Oh, don't let me girlfriend hear that. Don't let me girlfriend hear that. She'll kick me fucking head in. She'll be like, you're sleeping on the couch. Well, it's my flat. Well, you're sleeping on the couch. Fuck off. I'm only messing, love. If you're watching this, I love you dearly. My G. Energy. Thoughts on the bad boy, Chiesa? I think he's great. I'm looking forward to making my debut. I'm looking forward to playing in front of the Scouse faithful. I'm just very excited to get started on my playing career. I think it's long overdue. Obviously, I've achieved a lot in Italy. I've been one of the standouts for the Italian national team, and I'm here to make a difference. I'm here to prove I'm the best Italian the Premier League's ever seen. I'm here to prove that Ten Hag is a fraud. He's lucky I never played, because if I played that game and I made my debut in Old Trafford, I'd have farted on the Man United badge when I scored my third goal for the hat-trick. I'd have farted on the Man United badge. I'd have went over to Arne, laughed in his face, go over to the Stratford end, and I'd have farted on them. I'd have farted on their little mushroom faces. Do you want me to tell you why? Because I am Chiesa, and this is what I do. I will prove to be the best player in the league. I will. Only time will tell. Great question. James, can we get more live streams that are not football related? Yeah, man. I mean, if you ever want to ask me a question, non-football related, go for it. I'm here to make mates. I'm here for you guys. You know what I mean? Chiesa is going to be something special. If he stays fit, he will be something special. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing how Chiesa goes. Big up James pulling off the Lord Farquaad. Look, I'm pulling it off. Do you know what I mean? I'm pulling it off, so as long as I'm pulling it off, that's all that matters, mate. You know what I'm saying? Chiesa is an underrated baller. Amazing to see James getting the recognition that he deserves. Janav, you're a legend. It's people like you give me the recognition, so without you guys, I'm done. I'm finished, blood. Big up James. Are these lives going to be often now, sir? Yes, they will. Yes, they will. Every single day. Well, they've been every day so far for 3 days in a row. I had a bit of a realization after Rhubarb when she passed away that, you know, life's too short to be wasting any time. I had a lot of anxieties for the past 2-3 months that isolated myself, or, you know, whether you want to put that on the anxieties or you want to put it down to my mentality, it's probably a bit of both. Just genuinely didn't want to see anyone, speak to anyone. You can probably see I'm looking a lot rougher than probably what I used to. But, you know, do you know what, mate? I'm just grateful that I'm still breathing, and I'm just grateful I got to say goodbye to my dog. I was very thankful to God for that. I haven't really been on top of my praying to God as much. I haven't been on top of everything. I'm just so happy that the God that I serve loves me unconditionally, because, you know, it means I can always talk to him. And I won't lie, I did a bit of a Job out the Bible. There was times where I was praying to God, and it wasn't the best way to speak to God, don't get me wrong, but I seen verses in the Bible, and it's like, as long as you keep speaking to God, then he will listen to you. He understands your pain. There was amazing, like most people in the Bible have experienced that, where you speak to God in a way you probably shouldn't, but it's better than not speaking to him at all. You know what I mean? And God brought me back to the realization that this was my purpose and this is what I was supposed to be doing. And he gave me an opportunity to say goodbye to my little sister, which is all I can ever ask for. So yeah, a little UFC question to Poirier or Holloway. I've got to Poirier, man. I know everyone's jumping on the Holloway train because of the Gaethje knockout, but I just think Holloway struggles against smaller guys. I think Tapori is very explosive, and I just think he's a very dangerous man. And Holloway is susceptible to getting hit. He's great at dodging and stuff. And the fight with Calvin Kattar might fool people because he done the slip and dive, and he was just like, "I'm the best boxer in the UFC." One of the go-to moments, but no, Tapori is much better than the likes of Gaethje. He's much better than the likes of the Korean Zombie. I just don't think Holloway gets him the same. He's not really a head kicker as well, Holloway. He's more of a volume puncher. So to go 5 rounds, which is the most likely outcome with Taporia, is just too difficult. So yeah. I don't know how to say this gentleman's name, but he's the 15-year-old who's just signed for us, isn't he? Has received his PL approval and is now free to sign as an LFC player. Great. I thought that had already happened, but great. I'm always down with like big talent signing for the club, so I'm up for that. And we've done well in recent years of signing young talent. Fabio Carvalho made a big profit on him. Harvey Elliott being a very good asset to the football club. You know, we've done well with young talent. I think even we'll get to see in future years, like Cade Gordon, he'll probably be very profitable. We signed him from Derby County. A few other players as well like that. Neone, who we signed from Leicester. We've been signing a few of these gems, and they are a bit more money ball type transfers. You know, you bring them in, you sell them for more. It'll probably happen with the likes of Ben Doak as well. But you know what? These are the type of players that we want because they have potential to get in the team, and if they don't, you're still making a profit. Great signing. Breaking Bad or Prison Break? Ooh, well, saucy question. Prison Break for me. No, Breaking Bad. It's Breaking Bad, isn't it? Like, don't get me wrong, Schofield is a scouser. Like, he is just a bad man, but no, I'm going with Breaking Bad. You're telling me that you don't know the danger. Wait, then, no, what's the line again? It's like, I am the danger. But what was he saying it in context of? Someone tell me the line. I've got to do an impression of that, mate. Scousers are the salt of the earth, love visiting Liverpool. I'll tell you this. People who do university in Liverpool, you tend to notice they really want to stay. Like, I've seen people come to uni, go home because they think that's the best time to go home. Do you know when their uni placement is completed, they go home, and then you always see them end up coming back to live here permanently. It's honestly, it's an unbelievable vibe. If you're a student or looking to find a university, I genuinely couldn't recommend Liverpool more to you because Liverpool is great when it comes to a university lifestyle. There's so many good universities and good energy in them. I never went to university, but a lot of my friends, when they were all in university, and the nightlife. I don't go out no more, but the nightlife was brilliant, and the atmosphere and the vibes. Good atmosphere, man. Liverpool's a nice city, and it's that multicultural Liverpool, so it's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's really suited for all different types of people. Ghost asks, which player do you hate the most in the Premier League? How do you not say Bruno Fernandes? I just don't see any leadership qualities or many good qualities, and I just don't see. You know, I just see too many negative ones. Genuinely do not like that guy as a player. If I saw him, I'd probably think he's sound, but he's on the pitch antics aren't for me. There'll probably be a few guys. Jordan Pickford, actually. Jordan Pickford, just, I don't know, mate. To have the personality of a Jordan Pickford, you know, because he's got the personality of Ronaldo. Like, he's got the persona that he is the Ronaldo of goalkeepers. But in reality, he's just, you know, a Chris Kirkland. Good, fine, not that great. Much better England legacy than club legacy. Like, to see him for England in comparison to Everton is crazy. I just think he's so overrated as well. I just don't get how people say he's like one of the best goalkeepers in the world because he's England's #1. It just doesn't make sense. Shout out to Jake. Hiya, James. Hope you're well, mate. Sorry to hear about your dog. May you rest in peace. No, she was brilliant, mate. She was absolutely brilliant, and thank you for your message. Breaking Bad is more consistent. I agree with this. I think Prison Break gradually got worse as time went by. It was still great, and there was great moments, but yeah, Breaking Bad was just bump, 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 bump. It was cool. It was cool. I didn't mind the spin-off with Jesse either. Is it Jesse, the student? No, yeah, Breaking Bad for me. Prison Break's great as well. Honest opinion, do you think Jones is good enough for LFC? I'd have to see him under slot. I think he's got the attributes, yeah. I just think what he's shown to this point would demonstrate he's not good enough for Liverpool FC. But then you've got to ask the question, is he better than Maka? No. Is he better than Sobo? I don't think so. Is he better than Gravenberch? In the right system, I don't think so. So in that context, no. I also think Jones would have to be wanting game time soon. He's never been out on loan. He's always said he wants to prove himself at the club. I think his biggest detriment was never going out on loan. Because besides last year, he's never had that opportunity to have like a full season of games. And even last year, he lost his place. So, yeah. But I've seen improvements from Jones that would make me less reluctant to sell him. Going to say some names here. Let me know if you would sell or keep. Nunes, I would sell. Gakpo, I would keep. Gomez, I would sell. Only because... how often do you keep a player until his value drops? And he's clearly said that he wants more minutes. If you can get 30 to 40 mil, I wouldn't hate selling Joe Gomez, but you'd need to bring in a centre-back first. But it's one of those, like, I'm not desperate to sell Joe Gomez. It's more for him. You know, he even said earlier in the window he wants to play more, blah, blah, blah. That's not going to happen at Liverpool. So, therefore, I'd sell him for his needs. You know, and he's only one more injury away before the fan base turn on him again. It's more for him that. For me, I would keep Joe Gomez. I would keep Kelleher for as long as I could, because if they're happy being a number 2, great. Like, I'll keep you forever because you're more than capable of doing that. Same with like Endo. Endo's a more than capable backup CDM. He's just not necessarily a starting CDM. So Gomez, I would sell for him if I could choose, and he was happy with it. I'd keep. Shimmer sell. Jones. I'd be down for a loan for Jones. One loan, just let him go on one loan deal, play regular football and see how good he is, and then, depending on that, I'd keep or sell. So I'd say loan for Jones. Man, I know how you felt about Ruby. I had to put my dog Jasmine, of 15 years old, back in July. I had to take a few days off from everything I've had here before I met my wife and had my daughter. Edrin, let me tell you this, mate. Our rhubarb was 12, 10 and 13 this month. I have never felt... my nan passed away when I was 8 years of age. Nanny Miles, God bless her. Best nan in the world. Love Nanny Miles. And when she passed, it hurt. But because I was 8, I didn't realise it. And, you know, then obviously I get rhubarb from the age of 10 years of age, and she's been in my life longer than probably any current friend that I still see right now. She's been in my life before. Like, I've got a missus. Our rhubarb was 11 when I met my missus. And, you know, to lose a lifelong friend, and, you know, I don't know how old you are, Edrin, but 15 years, it's quite literally more than a quarter of most people's lives. It's just something that never goes, and you know what, mate? I can never ever, like, I'm in a way happy. I know what it's like, because it reminds me of what I had, and to be so devastated by our rhubarb going, same with you and your Jasmine. It's almost like it's better because it means the time you had with them was so valuable. And you know what I said the other night? I said that I would do anything. I would give up my flat. I would give up my house. I would give up every single penny in my bank account just to have that dog for one more minute. And what that demonstrates, and what's quite cool about life, is that you only get to do it once, and that's what makes it valuable. Does that make sense? If you could do life over and over again, the value decreases. If you could keep experiencing and reliving lives with your dogs in an alternate universe where you could relive the life that you had with your dog, it makes it less valuable because you can do it again and again and again and again. What makes it so valuable is that it happens once. One day they're there, and then one day they're not. And what makes life fair is that it happens to all of us. That really helped me with Ruby, because at first I was like, why does it happen to her, and blah, blah, blah. And then you think, well, it happens to everyone. One day I'll see her. And that's really cool. And I love that. And I love that message, mate. And you know what? When I see messages like that, it makes me very happy. Awesome comment. Why did the shows between you and Rance stop? Because I wasn't consistent enough, but we never fell out or not, and I just wasn't consistent enough on YouTube. And he's like a well-oiled machine on his channel. He's always getting different fans regularly every week, so that's all. Rance has said many things. Many things about what? Like good things, bad things? What did Rance say? I'm not too sure. Will you go live with Tom or Hussam? 100%. If they ever ask me and I'm free, I'll 100% do it with them. Is Rance the dude that said Klopp fluked his success? Rance says some shit. He's like very provocative. You've got to watch Rance for a long time to understand his style. He doesn't necessarily mean everything he says. I don't think he does anyway, because he'll say things that like contradict that down the line. I think he's just getting reactions out of people. But I don't think he did rate Jurgen Klopp too much. But I think that's just a natural copium thing, because you know he rated Ten Hag when he came in, and he's already switched on that. You know what I mean? So Rance does what he does. You know what I mean? But I love Rance. Trent is still passionate to be the new captain of this team, as he always pretends to be Stevie G, but could he change his mind? Could he forget the love of his club? No, he won't forget it. It's just he's going to assess what's best for him in his career. Does he want to do a Gerrard 2.0, or does he want to go and win even more silverware with Real Madrid? He's already achieved everything with Liverpool. The difference between Trent and Gerrard always chased that one goal of the league title. Trent's completed everything by now. It's different. I don't think him leaving means he doesn't love the club. That's what I'd say. That is what I'd say. That'd be my opinion. Any more comments, chat, or are you bored of me now? Was it your dog or sister that died? It was both. And I know that'll sound confusing, depending on where apart you are in the world. No, my friends, I just call my rhubarb my sister. She's obviously not my blood sister because she's a pooch, but, you know, I always say that she's my sister. And she is. So, anyone who's got a problem with that, Rhu would be a bite your ankles. You know what I'm saying? As an Arsenal fan, I would sell Partey and get a replacement CDM. Interesting, because I know a lot of Arsenal fans do disagree with that premise. They see Partey as like the creme de la creme. But he's just inconsistent with injuries and stuff, isn't he? And, you know, he's got like unnecessary baggage with the conflict that he's got going on. What is it? What is it called again? Like the case that he's got in Spain or whatever. Hiya, James. Glad to see you're back, lad. Missed you, brother, and fun. Hope you and your mum are feeling a little better today. Thank you, my friends. I really appreciate you. Thank you a lot. Mark Simmons, I would love to see you on Frank Carlisle's live show. James, old Scouse, young Scouse. Tell him to get me on there. And I've got time, I'll do it. James Slot, super hat and gonna win the league. I don't think you've spoke to my pal Bobby Slot Paisley. Liam says, sell Darwin and buy Gordon, who has 1 year on his contract. I'd probably get a striker instead, but then again, Jota, Chiesa can probably have a go there. We'll see. Right now, I'm off the Anthony Gordon train because of the Diaz performances. Thank you very much, Seen her. I really appreciate that comment. Melina says, people who don't love cats and dogs are people who don't know what love is. Melina, I agree. I think that they're unbelievable. Some people have like a either or, but as long as you're just an animal person, I think that's better. City look unstoppable. True. They always do. You can you just can't fault City at any point, can you? Do you know what I mean? Shout out to H. Appreciate the super chat, my friend. Really do appreciate it. Let me read that. I'm going through hardship. I had an accident and I'm now paralyzed. I lived happy life before, but then this happens. Stay happy, people. But do you see what I mean, guys? You've got people like H. You can sit there and say F you to the world because my whole life has changed and, you know, I can't be who I was before in a physical sense, but I can still have an outlook in a spiritual and mental sense that everything is okay because I determine how I want my life to be. And the energy you put out is the energy you're going to get back. And when you see a gentleman like this who's talking about quite clearly a very life-changing traumatic incident, hey, all I can say to you, mate, is that your mentality is superb. And everyone on James Redmond TV only wishes you the best, and I wish you the best, my friend. I couldn't imagine anything worse than that, a life-changing event like that, to be so strong, to spread joy, to spread kindness, I don't know if you're a God-fearing man, but that's a man of God trait right there. And I appreciate you, mate. I appreciate you loads. And to still see the positive in a world that is so cruel is gonna get me crying again, like gonna get me crying. I love you, pal. All right, and I really wish you all the best in your future. Stay positive, keep that good energy going, man. You're an absolute legend. And see what I mean? This is what's cool about YouTube is like, you know, I can speak about my hardship, you guys speak about yours, and we're all in this together, one way or another. We might not live together, we might not physically be together, but we're together in an ethos of one form, which is cool. Can we win the league this season with our squad? Yes, I do think so. That's one of the questions I wanted to ask. I just think if anyone can do it, it's what I've seen from Arne Slot so far. Would I be putting money on it? No, it's too early for that. But from what I've seen, very pleased. Very, very pleased, very satisfied. Long may it continue. Big up, James. Haven't seen you in a while. It's been a while. Thank you for coming back. Love you, mate. What do you think about the Mo situation? I explained briefly already, but I'll say again for yourself. Sign him, man. Sign him. Still scoring goals. Get him on a 2-year extension. You're not going to make no money for him anyway if he runs out his contract. Get him a new contract. Bish, bash, bosh. Bob is your uncle, fan. Bob is your uncle. Yeah, big up. Everyone spam love heart in the chat for RH there. He's a top man. James, are you still FSG out? Also, I'm so happy to see you back. Hail and healthy. Yeah, do you know what, mate? I thank you very much for the final comment. Am I still FSG out? Yes, to a degree. I still think they are quite a threat to the original premise of football. But in the same breath, do you know what? I'm sick of this FSG and FSG out. There's things I agree, there's things I disagree. Right now, what they're doing, and if they were to continue doing it, and there was a guarantee of that, no, I wouldn't be FSG out. I am only FSG out, not because of the money that they spend. Like, the business that FSG do, or the people they employ do, is very good. Very good business. It's the business they don't do that people don't like. But that's not my problem. My problem is when the CEO that they employ is coming out saying, we want league games in America. That's a problem for me. A problem for me is when tickets are all coming out and, you know, getting increased at unnecessary times. That's a huge problem for me. Letting staff go during COVID, that's a problem for me. These are things that are anti-Liverpool, and therefore I don't agree with. But what they do on the pitch, and this is what Alexander's going to probably extend on here, the model is excellent. It's a safe way to run a football club. You're not destroying or putting the club at risk by spending ridiculous money, and for that, I'm very, very grateful. And the business they do is brilliant. The business they don't do is what's scary. And I'd probably say that's where a lot of fans go wrong. But no, I would never be FSG out just because they don't spend money. I would only be FSG out because they take away the heritage of the football club, which they've threatened to do before. And I don't even think I mentioned the Super League, which they were one of the last to pull out and gave out, let's be honest, a pretty pathetic apology. So, no, right now, not necessarily FSG out, but that's only because they're not planning on doing anything like that, like the Super League and all these things. So, yeah, that's the way I'd say it. I believe in evolution. I don't think evolution of a football club is by taking it to America for a league game. I just don't think that makes sense. Conspiracy. FSG don't spend much money in the summer as they are prioritising contracts for our key players. Very true. Could be possible. And you know what? I don't mind that idea. That's probably what the club thought. It was like, just make the most out of everything else and work on that. Hello, James. Please call out Angry Ginge for a boxing match, Liverpool versus Manchester. I like Angry Ginge. I don't know if I'd want to, box him. I would like, if listen, pay me a bag. Well, we don't know each other that well. You know what I mean? But he's a good lad. He's probably got a few pounds on me, Angry Ginge. But I think that'd be a good matchup. I think that'd be good. Back and forth, trash talk. That'd sell. That'd be a fight that sells for sure. Do that in either Manchester or the O2. That'd be a banger. Liverpool should be winning more. Liverpool should be winning more with this combination of Van Dijk, Salah, Trent and Ali. And that is a shame on FSG because Liverpool simply haven't won enough. True. But they also have competed in the toughest era of football. and Premier League football in history. So it's tough. Trent shouldn't only look for silverware. He knows that playing for home fans means more. To play in an environment that always criticises you and a mistake don't appreciate you like us. I agree. It's just, again, it depends what he wants for his career. You can be loved, but in a bad environment, or you can go somewhere that's a good environment and whatever. It just depends what he wants. I don't think either is wrong. Contract should be given alongside new signings. I agree with this, but then you don't want to have too much unnecessary squad depth, and you still want room for young players to come through. You know what I mean? If we ended up signing a backup right back, such as, for example, Pavard, right? He was never going to play above Trent, but let's say we signed Pavard. Pavard would play behind Trent and then would never really get the opportunity to see Conor Bradley. So you do sometimes have to be a bit patient when it comes to certain signings. Because some players have like things in the contract, like you've got to play a certain amount of games, and if you don't, then you get paid this. And yeah, so sometimes it's not always best to just go and buy anybody. I think an exception to that would be like Zubimendi. Once Zubimendi says no, go out and get another CDM. Simple as piss. Shout out to Sam. Do you think FSG were a reason for us not signing enough players? Or do you think we had a budget, just won't be smart with the players we sign? I think we are smart with the players that we sign, besides like Nunes and all this, but that was more away from the Michael Edwards era. I think it's the money we don't spend where we're not smart. Like a CDM this summer. Like, I don't understand why Liverpool aren't capable of getting a Zubimendi replacement. Because Zubimendi's got the experience, the know-how, but why can't you find the next big thing for 10, 15 million? Like, there was that opportunity to sign Enzo Fernandez for 15 million years ago, and he ended up going for 100. I know he's not worked out since, but, you know, that's Chelsea. Like, no one works out at Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? Anyone who doesn't work out at Chelsea are very likely to work out somewhere else. We've seen this with Havertz. We're probably going to see it with Sterling. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Where have you been, Mike? I missed you. Just being away for a few months, lads. But I love you. Will you get a trim or what? Maybe. Who knows? I might just leave you teased for a long time. What do you think of the new Champions League format? I need to look into it more. It's very congested, which I don't like, but it's fine. It's fine. It'll probably be a bit more difficult, but we'll see. I came across a channel last night. They were talking about Newcastle United. Quite a few people on there were saying they don't agree with a state-owning football club. Some don't mind them. It's different opinions. It also probably matters what you think of politically. Obviously, Saudi Arabia, not to have a go at the Saudi Arabian people or the people of Saudi Arabia or even the government of Saudi Arabia. It's just they have cultural differences like everywhere else where, you know, it's not ideal. Like, I believe they pay, I believe it's not slavery, but it's like there's a lot of workers in the UAE and Saudi Arabia who like get paid pennies to do excruciating jobs, you know what I mean? Which is basically slavery. And obviously I disagree with that. And like, when they buy these football clubs and they get involved with like the Qatar World Cup and stuff like that, you know, they're getting people, their own people and people of other nationalities to come there and work for absolute piss pennies who basically die making these stadiums that are going to get knocked down 2 weeks later. It's just, I don't know. I don't agree with all the policies and stuff, but, you know, that's it. That's all it is for me. Based on the state-funded thing, you know, it is what it is. It's that's what football is. I think there's just got to be a fair rule in place to see how much you can spend. Because obviously, if a state fund can spend whatever they want, it's just not going to make football fair. So, but football already is a fair. We're already far away from that, aren't we? So yeah. But it probably just depends on your political policies and your footballing policies on whether or not they should be included. My point is that, my point is not that long ago they wanted Mike Ashley out, and he was brought out by this state. Sometimes it's a case, be careful what you wish for. Grass isn't always greener on the other side. I agree. But, you know, typical football fans, they're very basic. They just want it to be like, spend a lot of money, get a lot of players, get the best players. And as long as you do that, like, happy days. Otherwise, I just don't think people care about the intricacies or the policies or anything like that. So, yeah. Gravenberch is like a new signing, so imagine we'd signed him this summer for 70 mil, we'd be doing cartwheels. Gravenberch has just been amazing. And do you remember last year when I said Gravenberch has potential to be the best midfielder we signed last summer? I disagree with that now because McAllister just proved me brilliantly wrong. But Gravenberch is up there, man. He's got great potential, great engine. I'm just seeing a different side to him, and I think that shows that certain managers get reactions out of certain players. Like, if you think of Nemanja Matic without Jose Mourinho, his career is shite. With Jose Mourinho, fantastic career. Like, he is brilliant with Jose Mourinho. Know what I mean? I think he's even got... Has Nemanja Matic gone to Fenerbahce with Jose? I might be wrong, but... My point is not that long ago. I think I've read that one. My bad. James, given a chance, the player you would like to sell, replace in the next 2 windows, Nunes. I just don't think it's going to work. I don't think you need to have a £70 million player on the bench, my opinion. I think the new format is indifferent. I back us to win every game. If we do win it, the format shouldn't matter if we win every game. Facts. It's very tough to win every game. But yeah, facts. They are more invested than the Yanks. Who are we talking about there? We're talking about like the state funded groups. Is that what we're talking about? I'm not too sure. Right, let me go up. Shout out to 3D Django. Redmen TV sticking their life on the line for Richard Hughes, saying we would rather wait for the right signing, as that's how Liverpool do things. They're not incorrect, are they? They're not incorrect. Like, that's a very true statement. That's how Liverpool do things, and they obviously believe in what Liverpool currently do. Liverpool isn't like a bad run football club at all. It's just not obviously the creme de la creme. It's not a league winning standard every single year. We have to overachieve to win the league. If we win the league, we've overachieved every single season. There's very rarely an out-given right that Liverpool need to win the league. The crest should, the history should, but the current circumstances never imply Liverpool should win the league. We spend less than most teams in the bottom half of the table. How can you expect a team like that to win the league? It just doesn't make sense. But we're also much better run than a lot of those clubs. So believe me, you could spend more money and you could turn out like Manchester United or Chelsea currently. Or you could spend more money and end up like City and Chelsea of old. It just depends. And Liverpool don't have those resources, therefore we've got to be more precise. It is true. You might not like the truth, it's true. I do think Redmen TV, they might struggle at times at being a bit tough on the ownership. And I do think there's things to be tough about. I think they defend things I wouldn't defend, but that statement particularly I don't disagree with. And I've worked with them lads. They're not like funded by FSG or not. And the point is with them is they do have to stay somewhat nice with the football club because they get the exclusives and the Jurgen Klopp interviews and all this, which is still nice, but you just might not get the full authentic reaction at times. But it's still a great YouTube channel. It's just not for everyone, you know what I mean? Yet the investment amounts to hectic low wages for workers doesn't make ethical sense to me. The investment amounts. This is what I mean. Like, you can pay hundreds and hundreds of millions for players, but you can't afford to pay a few workers to build a stadium that's going to get knocked down 2 weeks later. That's all it is. It's unethical, but every country has their unethical traits, and it's why we all have our own countries. Modern slavery exists in all countries, including the UK. Yeah, I mean, like, obviously legally, we do have a minimum wage. You could make the argument that that's just a deceived perception because there's inflation. So we're not going to increase how much you get paid, but we are still going to pay you a minimum wage, which isn't going to change because of inflation. So yes, I agree. It depends on your definition of it, you know? Historically, you know, that's just the way it's always been. The poor have been taken advantage of. That's why Liverpool is the type of city that they are. You know what I mean? But no, I don't disagree with you there. That's all. Redmen TV, blah, blah, blah. You've got over 70 million from selling players, plus getting rid of players, Thiago's high wages, and you didn't spend much on transfer window. So what stops you from renewing the contracts? I don't think we've been stopped from renewing the contracts. We just haven't done it yet. That's probably the only thing there. Thoughts on Dana blocking the Jones versus Aspinall fight? This is the worst thing in fighting history. The fact that we're giving Stipe Miocic a fight after 4 years makes no sense. I have zero interest in that fight. That's a lie because I will watch it. But in terms of the comparison to a Tom Aspinall versus John Jones prospect, I hate that fight. How do you want to see? You want to see interim champion. The premise of an interim championship is that that's your golden ticket. You're guaranteed to fight for the undisputed belt. He's beat scarier dudes than John Jones. Cyril Gane, great opponent, and the way John Jones beat him was so impressive. Sergey Pavlovich is scarier than Cyril Gane. Curtis Blades is scarier than Cyril Gane. Do you know what I mean? And John Jones has wiped through these guys. Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall is beating these guys in a minute or two. I think his average fight time is like, 3 minutes, 2 minutes? Come on. That is the perfect guy to promote. That's the perfect heavyweight. Do that fight in England or do that fight in Saudi. It's one of the biggest selling fights that you can make. Stipe Miocic is not an interesting fight. He's the GOAT the same way GSP is the GOAT. But I have no interest to see current GSP versus Bilal Muhammad. I don't have no interest there. He's 45. I have no interest to see Francis Ngannou versus Fedor Emelianenko. He's 55. Don't do this. Stipe Miocic is a 70-year-old man, and the UFC is speaking about him like he's still one of the GOATs. He got chinned in his last fight. And the fight before that, he fought a light heavyweight. The fight before that, he fought a light heavyweight. Can we just limit the narrative? He's the greatest of all time. I understand the UFC and MMA heavyweight divisions are limited on heavyweight greats, but I just don't have no interest to see that fight. I want it to be Tom Aspinall. I want it to be John Jones. Simple as that. Complete and utter bollocks. Have you got a girlfriend? I do have a girlfriend. I do indeed. Under Arne, we look defensively good and compact, and we are attacking football. He has the right mix. He also subs off players to protect them from injuries. True. Zubamendi made the wrong choice staying at Sociedad. But why? Like, we're all sitting there saying that Trent should have stayed at Liverpool. Why is Zubamendi wrong for wanting to stay at his boyhood club? Isn't that, like, quite commendable? We're just salty because he turned down us. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, I don't agree. I think he was right to stay there. We are going to play Real Madrid, then we play City after. Yeah, see what I mean? The games are thick and fast. I'm not looking forward to that schedule. I'm really not. I'm really not. I think Dana White wants an undefeated and undisputed GOAT like boxing has. Sam, you're right. He wants a Michael Jordan of the UFC, so that when the PFL grow more and other organisations grow more, he can say, undisputed, I have the GOAT. And that does raise the UFC stock. So I get it from that point of view. Pavlovich is a dangerous dude, and Tom just farted on him and destroyed him, mate. He full-on pulled his kicks down and moonied in his head. And he done that. And Sergey Pavlovich had a full camp. He was the backup fighter for John Jones versus Stipe. He had a full camp. Tom Aspinall took that fight 2 weeks' notice and smashed him. And then he battered Curtis Blades. Come on, mate. Tom Aspinall is undisputed, the greatest heavyweight in the world. That's just facts. What do you think of Dricus du Plessis? Interesting to see a non-South African thinks. I love Dricus du Plessis, you know. I do. I think he's boss. I think he shows that athleticism and pure brute and strength can win you belts. And I knew he was going to beat Adesanya. He was going to be too much for him. Adesanya, when he's pressured, it's not a good fight for him. I know people were saying Adesanya was winning. I didn't see that. Like, I thought it could have been 2-1 to du Plessis. I think that Adesanya was getting him on the striking, but no. I knew even when Adesanya was having his moments, du Plessis was going to come back and win that fight. Love du Plessis, love his attitude, and I love the way he built the fight. I know that people have a different opinion on African heritage, and he's not African because he's white and these type of things. Does that mean every black person in the UK aren't English? Does that just mean they're solely African and they're basically adopted by us? Possibly, but that just depends on view. Like I've got my girlfriend is Sri Lankan-Nigerian. My best friend, he's from Zimbabwe. I consider them English people because they grew up in England, raised in England from minute one. It's like when Leon Edwards won the belt, he was like England born, England raised, blah blah blah. Now he never said England born. He said England raised because he was born in Jamaica. But he still represents Jamaica, talks about Jamaica, but the narrative was he'll be the first guy training out of England, growing up in England to win that belt. Because Michael Bisping done it in America. He done it in the UK. That's all du Plessis was saying. Du Plessis went wrong when he said, I'm more African than these guys. Like, maybe that was the bit where he fucked it a bit because he made it about Africanness. The bit where he changed it back to you know, I'm going to be the first one on African soil to bring the belt back to Africa. Great. But Adesanya fucked it for himself, you know. He could have literally took the high road there, but then he called Du Plessis a cracker. Do you know what I mean? Like, why are you calling the white guy a cracker, you fucking dickhead? Oh, he ruins it for himself, mate. I lost a lot of respect for Adesanya after that. Just a contradiction. Like, imagine a white guy saying the N-word to him. You know what I mean? He's there, well, who's this fucking cracker to be telling me who I am and where I'm from? It's just, you could have took the high road. When Dricker said, I'm more African than these guys, he could have took the high road, but he never. He was stupid because he's dumb and he gets emotional. And that's why he cried at the press conferences when the dog was called out and he got called out for the dog stuff. It's tough, you know what I mean? James, I'd love to be modded. Let me do more streams and I'll consider mods. You know what I mean? I'll consider some mods. The Paddy armbar was filth as well. Yeah, Bobby Green's a dumbass. Bobby Green, why would he do that? You know what I mean? South Africa automatically loves you, mate. Do you know what I mean? No, I love South Africa. I want to go. I know it's a little bit dangerous in certain parts, but that's like everywhere, isn't it? I know it's a bit different in South Africa. It is quite high crime rate, but I'd love to go to South Africa. Me and my missus have been talking about that, actually. Drickers is great overall, just not flashy. He's a lot to handle, to be fair. Yeah, mate. And age is better for the likes of Darren Till to afford Drickers Du Plessis and do well. You know what I mean? I think Darren Till had not much worse of a performance against Du Plessis than Adesanya. I thought it was pretty equal because the second round he was pacing the fuck out of Drickers, and that was a 3-round fight. So I think he done well. I think Dan Hooker lost his last fight as well. No, he won his last fight, Dan Hooker. Oh, do you mean you think he lost against Gamrot? I understand. 2 of the judges gave him the first round, which is crazy. Yeah, no, I agree. I thought that was slight robbery, but listen, it's Dan Hooker. We can give it to him. I think Gamrot won that fight, though. Yeah, Du Plessis versus Alex Pereira. Yes, please. Dana White, take my money. I'd love that fight as well. Fuck Ankalaev, innit? Don't let Ankalaev fight for the belt yet. He got offered a title shot and he turned it down. And his most recent win is against Johnny Walker. He has no divine right to fight for the light heavyweight title. Give Alex Pereira Khalil. Let him demolish him, because he will. And then give him Du Plessis. But that's a tough fight against Du Plessis, you know. People might think, no, at 85, at 205, I'm confident for Pereira. At 85, fuck every bit of Du Plessis versus Pereira. That's a dangerous fight for Pereira, mate. Just because of the drainage and the pace difference and the power difference, I don't know. Is the bad blood between Liverpool and Manchester more than just a football and rivalry, or is there more to the history? I think every rivalry in the country has some sort of history to it, but it is mainly football. I actually think there's quite a unity between Manchester and Liverpool historically, but football and wise, it separates. It's mainly football-based. If anyone wants to correct me in the chat, go for it. From my knowledge and understanding, I can't think of any real conflict between Manchester and Liverpool in the past. I think football is what created such a rivalry between them, you know what I mean? Let me just see the time real quick. It is... One sec, guys. Okay, it's 6:30. I'll need to get off this. Guys, I'll probably need to wrap up now, but I really enjoyed that stream. I'll be back tomorrow. I've got to go and get tea with my mum and stuff like that. I didn't realise the time it was, to be honest. I've been on here for ages. Much love to every single one of you. Hope you're all having an amazing day. And guys, I'll see you all later. God bless.